Hey guys, Simon Bryson here, and which one is better and which one do you prioritize? Is it a 401k, a Roth IRA, or for example, a traditional IRA? Which one do you invest into and in what order? In this video, I'll tell you exactly how they work and also how to prioritize them. And by the way, the goal here is not to tell you what to do, but to teach you how things work. That way, you know exactly what you're doing because by the way, retirement accounts are for the long run. So you mess it up, it can cost you a lot of money in 20 to 30 years because again, these are just retirement accounts. And if you don't know what you're doing here, it can hurt you a lot in the future when it's time to go ahead and retire. So I'll teach you exactly how everything works in this video. Now, if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day. So make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, the very first thing is this, guys, okay? These are all retirement accounts. But the thing is that basically some of them pay taxes today and never get taxed again. For example, the Roth Options, okay? If you made 10K, you pay taxes on it, great. Well, now you can invest that money and it grows tax-free, but you never get taxed again because basically you already paid tax on it. However, if you made 10K pre-tax, you can invest that money and then it grows tax-free. But at the end, when you take it out, guess what? You will be taxed, okay? According to your income tax rate in that period right there when you take that money out. So keep that in mind. One gives you the benefit of today, a tax break today, but in the end, you get taxed. And then one lets you get taxed today, but you don't get taxed in the future. So if you ask me, I'd rather 10 times, okay, pay the tax today and let the money grow tax-free forever until I take it out in a Roth option, okay? Usually, that's what I want you guys to do, and that's basically what I do. Now, here are the basics, guys, okay? When it comes to a Roth IRA, tell me what is it, how does it work, okay? Overall, again, okay, you're gonna pay tax today, and in the future, you won't be taxed ever again. But a Roth IRA does have its limits, okay? You can only invest not $10,000, but only $6,000 every single year between it and also, for example, a traditional IRA. It's not combined, it's only $6K in total. Now, on top of that, the cool thing is basically, if I put on $6K, for example, in 1 year, the idea is if I want to take that money out, tax-free, penalty-free, I can if I want to, as long as I don't take out the money I actually made, my actual gains, but my contributions can be taken out whenever I actually want. And that's the cool thing about a Roth IRA. However, though, guys, here are the basics when it comes to, for example, a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and also, for example, a 401k plan. Now, the idea is this, guys. If you're gonna do a Roth IRA, the limit is $6K per year. And on top of that, this money is post-tax, meaning I pay taxes today and I won't get taxed in the future. So basically my money is gonna go tax-free, but it'll be all mine in the future. That's the cool thing here. Now, let's say, for example, you put in 6K this year and it grew to 7K. As long as you only take out what you put in, contributions, you can take that money out tax-free, penalty-free, no problem. It's your money, and you pay tax on it, no problem, okay? However, if you take out the gains, potentially, you might be penalized, or for example, you might actually have to pay taxes on it. Before the age of 59, if you do that, you will be penalized and pay taxes on it. So keep that in mind. However, though, okay, that's not all. Because they also do allow you, under some cases, to go ahead and take money out early if you're not, for example, 59 and haven't had it for over 5 years, right? And here is how they allow you to take that money out, okay? The idea is that basically, well, if you take that money out, 10K, to buy your very first house, you can if you want to, no penalty, no tax. On top of that, for expenses as education, medical bills, health insurance, or if you become disabled or you pass away, pass it on to your kids. But on top of that, you can also do it with an SEP periodical plan, okay? Now, what does this mean, right? If you want to take your money out, penalty-free, tax-free, you can if you want to, if you set up, for example, a payment plan with the IRS over your lifetime. Now, the thing is that basically, if you do this, the problem is that, let's say, for example, you do it for 5 years. By the way, you have to do it for 5 years minimum, and if you don't, they penalize you and tax you like crazy. So keep that in mind, right? But if you do that, right? If I say, well, all right, I have 20K or maybe like 100K in my Roth IRA, and I want to do a whole plan. Okay, they do it, for example, with your lifetime. It's called the 72T rule. And the idea is when they do that, by the way, guess what they do? They say, well, we're gonna pay you this amount of money over the next, for example, 20 to 30 years or whatever. Now, if you do this, for example, and then you have, for example, a market crash the next year, you still have to take money out. And if you don't, you'll be penalized, okay? And that's what I don't like about it, right? So I'd rather just put money in my Roth IRA, let it grow over time, and then in the end, take that money out. And by the way, you can always transfer money from your Roth 401k into your Roth IRA, tax-free, penalty-free, no problem, once you're done with your employer. Now, you also have, for example, a traditional IRA, and the limit is also 6K. Now, sometimes people tell me, Tommy, well, is that 6K here, 6K here, 12K? No. Combined together, it cannot exceed $6,000 as far as, for example, your Roth and also your traditional IRA. Now, the idea is that basically is the opposite of a Roth IRA, meaning, hey, I don't pay tax today, right? I get that tax credit, but in the future, I'll pay tax then, right? And it's a dumb idea. Why? Because basically, you'll need a lot more money in the future when you're older than you'll need right now, being young and having more money. That's the idea there. So traditional IRA plans are basically pre-tax. That's cool, tax benefit, but in the end, you will pay a lot of taxes into it. And by the way, yes, you can roll over a 401k into traditional IRA, no tax, no penalty whatsoever. Now, when it comes to a 401k plan, they also have a Roth Options. You can also get, for example, a Roth 401k plan. Or for example, if you work, for example, in the medical field, in the government field, or for example, in nonprofits, you can also get, for example, a 403b plan or a Roth 403b plan, like a 401k, but basically for those people right there. Now, the concept is that what I like a lot about 401k is basically you can go ahead and invest a lot more money. Usually it's going to be with your employer. Employer. The limit is going to be $19,500 every single year. Now, by the way, this is by far a lot of money, and it's also very, very hard to go ahead and max it out, okay? Now, by the way, the rule I follow is a 10 to 20% rule when it comes to investing. So you invest that much, but an extra 5% if you're gonna have kids to put that money into a 529 account. However, though, okay, to max out both a Roth IRA, 6K, plus a 401k, $19,500. If you're investing, for example, 20% of your income, that means basically you have to be making somewhere around $127,000. A lot of money. Usually the average person does not earn that much. Usually they're gonna max out their Roth IRA, put some money into the 401k, and so on and so on. And by the way, guys, the same ideas apply here. With the Roth 401k plan, I'll pay my tax today, but in the future, I won't pay taxes. With my 401k plan, the normal one, I'll get a tax benefit today. I'll get a tax credit today, but in the future, I'll be taxed like crazy, and that's what I don't like. All these accounts can be transferred over into a traditional IRA or, for example, a Roth IRA when you're done with your employer. That's the idea. Now, tell me, which one do I do? And which one do I prioritize? Is my Roth IRA? Is it my traditional IRA? Or, for example, is it a 401k or a Roth 401k or the 403b plan or the Roth 403b plan? A lot of options here, right? But overall, and by the way, yes, you can have all of them, by the way, like the 401k option, the Roth and traditional IRA, you can have all of them, okay? So here's the idea, guys, okay? Scenario one, so strategy A here. Let's say, for example, your employer says, hey, Tommy, we pay you, let's say we pay you a lot of money. We pay you maybe every single year, we pay you somewhere around $50,000, right? 50K. And now the idea is that we're gonna go ahead and match you 6% of your salary for every dollar you go ahead and invest, right? Into the 401k plan, meaning free money, right? So I want all that free money. So what do I do here, okay? The answer is, by the way, if your employer offers a Roth 401k, do with it, okay? Do that. That's better because basically in the future, you'll have more money for yourself, no taxes. Now, what I would do here is basically, I would invest as much as needed to get all the free money from my employer. Ask them how much that is, they'll tell you. Do that automatically from your paycheck. On top of that, what would I do outside of that? I would open up a Roth IRA. Now, me personally, I use M1 Finance for my investments. Link down below if you want to copy exactly the way I invest, okay? Is the M1 Finance link down there. When you sign up, you also get 30 bucks. Now, the idea is that I would have a Roth IRA there and I would max it out. So that's $6,000 right there. Now, if you do that, you can't invest, for example, in traditional IRA because again, the limit is 6K. Now, if you have even more money left over, what do you do then? Well, you can put that money, for example, into your Roth 401k with your employer, or your 401k, right? That's the idea. Now, if you have even more money left over, you can put it, for example, into a normal taxable account with your brokerage, okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, this money is for retirement. Do not play around picking stocks you don't understand. Pick ETFs and index funds. That way, they grow over time without a lot of risk. Now, that's what I would do. Now, why? Because again, I want to get all the free money as possible. Then I want to have more control, so I put it in my Roth IRA because I control that. I can take money out whenever I want to, not with the employer. That's different, right? And then if I have money left over, I can put it, for example, into the 401k plan and let it grow over time. Now, here's another scenario, okay? Scenario B. Tommy, well, what happens if I do get paid 50K, but they don't match anything? No free money. What do I do then? The answer is, well, first, I would go ahead and max out my Roth IRA. And then I would go ahead and max out potentially my Roth 401k plan. But most likely, again, you have to make a lot of money to be able to do that. Usually, that won't be the case here. So usually, just go ahead and max out your Roth IRA. Whatever money's left over, you put it, for example, into your Roth 401k or, for example, into your 401k plan. Now, Tommy, what happens if I go ahead and leave my employer in the future? Because there's always a possibility here. I might get fired. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, the idea is very simple. If you had a Roth 401k plan, you can transfer it over, for example, into your Roth IRA. Now, if you had a normal 401k plan, you can grab that money right there, put it into your traditional IRA, tax-free, penalty-free, and when you're ready, transfer it over into your Roth IRA. Now, the hook is this, okay? Because you didn't pay taxes, you will pay tax now. Transfer it over into your Roth IRA. Now, I recommend do not sell the investments and pay with that money. No, that's why I say you want to wait until you're ready. So you want to go ahead and save the money needed to pay the taxes on the money you're going to put over into your Roth IRA. Now, as long as you do this correctly, you'll have your Roth IRA bulking up and bulking up. You have more and more money in there. Now, just for fun here, guys, okay? Just for fun here. If you invest your money correctly, and you allow it to grow over the next 30 years, just with the Roth IRA at a 10% return, in reality, you'll have around $1,085,660 in that account. Now, however, if you max up, for example, your Roth IRA and also your Roth 401k plan or your 401k plan, you'll have somewhere around $4.6 million over 30 years at a 10% return. On top of that, if your employer gave you free money, imagine how much money you would get. By the way, keep in mind this, guys, they don't tell you this, but in reality, your employer cannot put their contributions or their match into your Roth 401k plan. They have to put it, for example, into a 401k plan. So a lot of times, basically, you'll put your money into your Roth 401k plan, and the employer will put the match, for example, into the 401k plan. But once you leave in the future, don't worry, you can transfer that money over into the Roth IRA by doing what I told you before in this video. That's the idea right there. But overall, guys, that's how I would go ahead and prioritize when it comes to my retirement accounts, okay? And by the way, usually, that's how you're gonna do it. It gives you a lot of benefits. And by the way, remember, okay, I don't want you to have to take money out of this account to pay debt or emergencies. No, I want you to have an emergency fund and also be debt-free before you start maxing out your accounts. That's what I want for you, okay? That way you don't have to worry about it. By the way, remember, okay, when you retire, guys, at age 40 or 50 or 60, whatever you want to do, the idea is you have to have, for example, your home paid off, you have your car paid off. So basically, the biggest thing, transportation and also shelter, those two things will be covered in full. So all that extra money will be yours. And that's gonna be a lot more than you actually need to actually, for example, live a very good life. And as always, guys, comment down below and let me know if this video helped you in any way, or if you have any questions, comment down and let me know. And by the way, if you wanna call me or talk to me one-on-one, I have a third channel where I take calls from Monday to Friday. Link down below. All calls are free. Ask me anything about money and finance, all that stuff. Link down below and schedule a call, and I'll give you a call on whatever it is, okay? On top of that, I have a second channel called Tommy Bryson Show, where I also post there every single day. And if you want to DM me, well, DM me on Instagram at Tommy Bryson right here. That's my only account over there. And also, like and subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.